Okay. You guys don't know this, but this is actually my third time making this. It's fine. It's fucking wild. It's wild. Whole thing behind that. We're not going to talk about it. Long story short, we're here. We're back, and this time you kind of see me. Although the background will change because I'm actually moving pretty soon, but it doesn't matter because you guys don't fucking care. And if you do, um, I'm moving pretty soon. I'm glad you care. Thank you for caring. Thank you. Anyway, I'm here. We haven't talked about anything in a while. It's been a minute. I was supposed to release a video last week. I actually had one that I got halfway done with, but I wasn't happy with it, so I scrapped it. And we're gonna do something a little more impromptu. I'm better with these kind of things because I'm really good at just spouting nonsense. We have a lot to go over. Um, so since last time, I believe we've had two My Hero chapters, three One Piece chapters, and one Jujutsu Kaisen or two Jujutsu Kaisen. It was two, and we're gonna focus on One Piece mainly here. Like I said, we're One Piece channel. This is what we do. Anyway, some good things also. SBS came out, which is really nice. So I'll do a little talk about the SBS. You guys, if you're One Piece fans, you've already seen everyone talk about SBS. There's no reason to. If you want to see people talk about it, go check out BDA Law's video. He has a good video on the SBS. Go check out Grand Line Review. He does a really good job explaining the SBS, as well as Tekking. Tekking does a full length video, and Tekking's video is one of my favorites. I like Tekking a lot. Regardless, there's other YouTubers who have it, and they've probably done it better. You can probably check out Library of Ohara. He actually, on his website, he has it fully transcribed. So that's another good one. Joy Boy Theorist probably has a video out on it too. So if you're interested in more SBS stuff, we're just going to talk about one of the things in there. And that was that my favorite part of the SBS was the question where it says, Oda, do you watch One Piece YouTubers? And if you do, which ones do you watch? And Oda says, I know that they exist. So he knows One Piece YouTubers exist, and he says, and the knowledge that they have is insane. It's impressive how much knowledge these people have. And I like how he says that's why he stops watching them. He doesn't want people to, he doesn't want them to influence how he writes the story. He wants One Piece to be something that everybody can see. If he, for example, writes according to what us theorists know, a lot of stuff doesn't need to be explained for us. We just know. We kind of know things that don't need to be explained. Like, we're only thing we really need, like, I guess hardcore explanations on at this point is Devil Fruits and the voice entry. A lot of other things as a community, we pieced together a lot. Especially over this last year, our community has grown so much. We have a lot of new people that jumped into One Piece, and I'm so happy about that because we have more theories out there than ever, and it's super nice. And Oda knows this. He knows there's a lot of people out there have a lot of theories. He doesn't want to write to cater to us because he knows there's a lot of people who they just watch One Piece week to week. They probably don't even watch it consistently. They might miss a couple episodes here or there. They read it every week. Maybe they don't read it every week. They're just casual fans out there. People who enjoy One Piece, they do read it every week, but they're just not like they touch grass. That's what I'm trying to say. They go outside. We don't, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with not going outside. Oda says he likes that. We do. We are smart. So you can stay inside. It's okay. You don't have to go outside right now just because Oda says the other ones touch grass, but they do. They know what grass tastes. I don't know what grass looks like. I haven't seen grass in 15 years. All right, that's when I started reading One Piece. I don't know what grass looks like. Regardless, it's insane that he does watch them, and obviously I doubt he watches like English YouTubers, but I'm sure he's obviously heard of them. I'm sure he's ran across like Uteron or something. Uteron's a really big like Japanese One Piece YouTuber, so he's definitely run across him a couple of times, right? Regardless, I like that about Oda. He's writing a story to be more towards the fans that are casual viewers. Because if every anime had to be so deep and complex, people wouldn't like it. I guess like the one thing I could put is Death Note. Death Note is insanely complex, but I think Death Note is actually done in a way that where like it's complex, but it makes sense. Like I haven't seen many people be confused about the plot of Death Note. They all seem to understand where it's going and what's going on, and the whole like situation with it is pretty good. And Oda's kind of doing like that. He wants it to be where everyone can read One Piece and understand it without having any issues, and I'm glad that that's where we are right now. So I'm pretty happy, and that's what I was going. I just don't want to talk about the SBS. Just another thing in there regarding Zoro not being related to Ushimaru, which a lot of people thought he was, and how Oda even cut a scene out of the manga because he didn't want to cause any confusion. So that's nice. I'm pretty sure Zoro's might have had like ancestors in Wano, but I doubt this. Like, it's something that simple where it's just like, oh yes, there's his dad or there's his mom. No, I doubt it's anything like that. I 100% think it's like a Karina situation where he's like a second generation Wano person. So like his maybe whenever Shimosuke uh, Kozaburo left, he probably didn't leave alone, and he had some other people with him from Wano, and those are the people who ended up being Zoro's grandparents, somewhere like that. But I doubt it's like a direct connection. Speaking of Zoro, into the chapter, Zoro is a beast. My goodness, this fight with King is going pretty insane. If I'm looking off in the distance, it's because I actually have the chapter pulled up so I can make references to certain panels. In the chapter, Oden's beloved sword, we get to see some good stuff here. I like the chapter a lot. It starts with the what I like to call the filler of what's going on right now, because a lot of people right now really want the fights. I like everything, but this filler was good. It was the Yamato situation. Yamato's still going down. She knows what she needs to do, but we also see that the giant ball of fire, the yokai, is also going down. It's going down straight towards the basement where all the explosions are. We know that Yamato is trying to prevent them from going off. I also like this chapter a lot. It starts the conflict between CP0, X-Drake, and Apu, which came out of nowhere. All right, I was sitting here and I was wondering how was Robin and Brooke going to deal with CP0, because CP0 is, they haven't done anything all night. They're a force. We know CP0 is supposed to be strong, and they have not done anything at night, this night, right? And we know Brooke and Robin, they've been fighting all night. Like, they don't have much energy left. It's just kind of like, they got what they got. And it's interesting to see that, like, this is how we're going to do it. X-Drake and Apu are going to fight them instead, giving Brooke and Robin time to get away so they won't get captured, which is really interesting. But to the Zoro King stuff, we're seeing Zoro struggle to fight King. He's not putting a dent on him. He's not making a dent. He's using amazing attacks. He uses his 360 caliber Phoenix. He uses his Kalushia Great Dragon Twister, and he's not making a dent in King. King's not taking any damage. However, there is one line that he says it, this right here, and this is gonna tie back to something I'll make a point of when we're done talking about 1033. But he says, so dinosaurs are basically like dragons. Big Lizard was tough hides. That's all that matters. The fact that he likened a dinosaur to a dragon, that's what's important. If you already know, you already know. Come on, you know, you know. For those who don't, give me a minute. Anyway, the fight's going on. Emma starts to drain his hockey, and then we go to some more filler stuff involving fucking Orochi. I don't fucking like Orochi. But in 1033, that's where we get the good stuff. 1033, this entire chapter is about Zoro and King. It's really nice that we have a chapter like this, because we haven't had a chapter just based on the fight in a minute. So it's really nice. A lot of it will be like parts of a fight and filler, except for the Hawking chapter. Oh my god, that chapter was so good. I hate Hawking, so like, it was so good. That was a good chapter for me. Regardless, in this chapter, Zoro is struggling with Enma. He's trying to dent King. Now we do get one cutaway from this fight where Queen's talking to Sanji, and he's like, well, you just talking to Zoro, like the pirate hunter? He's like, yeah, he's not gonna beat King. It's like they were considered, this race were considered gods, and then Sanji says, oh, like if they were considered gods, then how could beings like that get wiped out? And then Queen's just like, you have to find out for yourself. And even here, like, Zoro's still going in with strong attacks. One store style, lethal lion song, nothing. Just not even denting him, man. And even in this chapter, he stabs him point blank, stabs him with Enma, and all King does is explodes. King's perfectly fine. The Gimp suit is okay. The mask is seemingly fixed. It's not as broken as it was, but regardless, Zoro's suffering. He's getting destroyed. And what I like about this fight is Zoro's learning. He doesn't know what King is, just like we don't know what King is. We know he's a Lunarian. Zoro can probably put that together because he's heard the name before, but we don't know what they do. And Zoro has no idea. Even he said it in the last chapter. He's like, I can't do any. I don't know what he is. How can I fight this? And here we see him going to the flashback. We're going to skip him picking up all the swords. He picks up all the swords, but we're going to go straight to the flashback. In the flashback, he realizes that he starts to put some connections together. He realizes that the old man in Shimotsuki village was Shimotsuki Kozaburo, the person that made the Wado Ichimonji and the person that made Enma. And that's where he remembers what he told him. The guy tells him, he's like, listen, swords are exist to cut people down. He's like, when Smiths create them, they ensure they can take as many lives as possible. He's like, each blade is like a person. They have a unique disposition. They have a unique temperament. And a swordsman is a person who can take a sword and tame its temperament to its need. And that cursed blades are good because cursed blades do what they're supposed to do. They're stronger. They have stronger temperaments. So they're better at cutting people down. And that's what swords are made for. And I agree. There's a good point. You make a sword. What's the point of you making a sword if it's not to hurt somebody with it? So he's saying that a cursed blade is good. He said, if I make a blade and someone calls it cursed, I know I made a good blade. And he said, my magnum opus, the greatest swords he ever created, is named Enma. Zoro realizes this. He picks up Enma and he says, I see, Enma, you're not trying to disable me. You're not trying to hinder me in this fight. You're actually trying to help me. He realizes that Enma's temperament is training him right now. He is teaching him how to be better, teaching him how to wield it. Because you have to remember, the last person to wield Enma was Kozuki Oden, and Oden, he was a master. He was a master swords fighter. He can do it all. So obviously, Enma's used to somebody who can use swords as efficiently as Oden, and that's what Enma's expecting. And when he got Zoro's kind of like, I'm not saying Zoro's no Oden, but at the time his Haki wasn't on the same level as Oden, and because he thought Enma was doing a tug of war with Haki, when in reality, Enma's expecting Zoro to go full out on Haki, like Oden did all the time. And Zoro finally realizes this in this chapter. He starts to go full out on his Haki, which actually starts to power up his Conqueror's Haki. I'm not gonna say awaken because I guess technically he already had Conquerors, right? But this made it stronger, and essentially it powered him up. And this gets King's excited. King's excited now. He's like, you too have kingly ambitions. He knows. King knows that he just awoken Conqueror's Haki, but King doesn't seem phased. Doesn't seem scared at all, which means this kind of confirms that King's also has Conqueror's Haki and is probably going to do some crazy stuff here, and I'm pretty excited about that. We're gonna move on to the next chapter. Actually, no, we'll go back. So basically, this chapter was good. We needed some Zoro love. We got some Zoro love. Zoro, he's been one of the. He hasn't really had the time to shine post time skip, and I think this is why I feel this is so deserved. And I like the theory that some people have said it. I believe it was I'm the King. He mentioned that he thinks that because Sanji had Whole Cake as his arc basically, and then Zoro has Wano is his arc. We're gonna get Elbaf as Usopp's arc, which I do agree with because Usopp's the one that wants to go to Elbaf. And then what I like about from I'm the King videos, he mentions that he wants Lodestar to be Nami's arc, which is interesting because a lot of people forget about Lodestar. And people say it doesn't matter, and I think it definitely does because Lodestar was thought to be the end of the Grand Line. And for people who don't know about Laugh Tale, that is the end of the Grand Line. Once you make it to Lodestar, you've conquered the Grand Line in air quotes, right? You've gotten to the end. So we still have to go to Lodestar. And people forget about that, and they never want to bring it up, and they always say, no, we're going to skip it, it's going to suck, it's going to be trash, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'm okay with it being like a whole like mini arc, kind of like Zoe, not there for too long, or like Return to Reverie, where we're like not there for so long, we're just kind of there for a handful of chapters, like 10, 15 chapters, maybe 20, we can kind of get through it. I'm okay with that for Lodestar. That's 10 to 20 chapters, 15 to 20 is good enough for like a mini arc with a nice little like central around Nami. And that's okay. Nami doesn't need too much. She just needs something. And I feel like that would be fine if that's how it goes. Back to it. 1034. This is going to be Sanji versus Queen. We go back to Sanji Queen fight. A couple things I like about this chapter. One, we start off a little bit of what I like to call the filler, which is Momonosuke actually realizing that he cannot make flame crowds as strong as Kaido's to stop it. And he's like, okay, I can't do anything, but what I can do is I can grab his flame crowds. And so basically Momonosuke is sitting here thinking on the fly. He's like, okay, if I can't make my own, I'll just take Kaido's flame clouds and I'll move the island away from the flower capital. And they're too scared to give me hybrid Momonosuke, so that's all we get in filler on Fort. Regardless, we go back to the live stage. King and Queen are fighting. Then we start to see Queen, and what Queen showing himself to be a magnificent scientist right here. He uses Sparking Queen, which is literally just Sparking Valkyrie. And Sun starts to realize this. He uses Henry Queen, which was just, Henry Blazer. and then he uses a Witch Queen, which is just Witch Dyson. He's is so good because he's essentially showing that like the magnum opus of Judge's work were his kids, all being modified. So Sanji, Yonji, Niji, Reiji, and the other one who's I forget. It's crazy because they're all numbers, and I can't remember. Is it Yiji? Is Yiji? Yeah, that's the one I'm forgetting. Regardless, and he even then goes to activate in this chapter, Stealth Black. Right, the next technique was Stealth Black. He probably calls it Stealth Queen. Let's be honest. But what I like about this chapter, man, in this chapter, it shows that Sanji hasn't changed. We thought Sanji hit that one girl a couple chapters ago. I didn't. I know he didn't, but a lot of people were expecting it to be a thing. What I liked about this chapter is it shows that Sanji hasn't lost that part of himself, and that he is indeed his own person, just with enhanced abilities. He even points it out whenever Queen disappears with like I said, I assume just call it Stealth Queen. And Sanji goes above him, and he basically's like, "Hey, with my advanced ornament hockey, he's like, with my ornament hockey, my ectoskeleton, and my now enhanced speed, I can make hotter flames." So he levels up his Diablo Jambe, which stands for demon fire, to Infrared Jambe, which is Infrared's a different form of demon, but it's a stronger demon Jambe. He goes off. All right, if you've ever seen the Mr. Two Bon Clay fight, Mr. Two and Sanji, basically, if you've ever seen that fight, man, that when Sanji's spinning and doing all those kicks, imagine that, but there's no kicks being shit back. He's just kicking the shit out of Queen, and he hits him with I think it's a total of 13 different attacks. I don't speak French that well, so I'm not gonna sit here and name all those attacks, but believe me, this is what Sanji needed. Sanji had a really good arc in Whole Cake, where he basically had to deal with the Germa, and basically escape his family again, in a different sense, and come to terms with it. And he ended up with the raid suit, and I like how his arc is kind of how it kind of developed. He got the raid suit. I didn't really want Sanji with the raid suit. I'm not a big fan of the raid suit, but then Sanji in this arc uses the raid suit. Then it gets to the point where he's like, the raid suit's changing me. I'm not using it anymore. He breaks it, but now he's realizing that the powers are still there, but he doesn't need the raid suit, and it's because he sees his own person that those powers exist. And I don't know. I enjoy it. He's even accepting the fact he got a power up, and like he said earlier, what kind of person do you need me to be, Pirate King? Essentially saying that, like, I don't know what kind of person Luffy needs, but I'll be whatever I need to be to help Luffy reach his dream. So Sanji's a real one. This is Zoro's arc. So Zoro in this arc, we know he's done a lot with the samurai, training with them, and learned a lot about swords, as well as like just getting better. And him and Hiyori have that little thing. So like that's nice. This is a nice little Zoro arc. And going into Elbaf, which is what I assume to be the next arc, unless we go straight to Marijois. I don't know how the next arc's gonna. I don't know what's gonna pan out. I have a feeling we could go straight to Marijois. I don't want to, because if we have to go save Sabo, I'm gonna be annoyed, because I don't think I don't like Sabo as a character right now. But I feel like it's okay. I mean, I trust in Oda. So even if we have to go save Saba, I'm sure we'll be good. But I will have my issues with it. However, I don't think we will. I think we're going to go to Elbaf. I think there's going to be some wacky shit in Elbaf, and I'm fine with it. Only reason I don't want Big Mom to fall here is because I want to see Big Mom in Elbaf. So we'll see how that pans out. Regardless, that's all of One Piece. Man, this has been a lot longer than I thought it was going to be for the One Piece section. So, because it took so long for One Piece section, I'll turn Jujutsu Kaisen into a different video. Because Jujutsu Kaisen, man, there's so much talk about in that one. Oh yeah, quick My Hero, because I'm not making a video out of that. Yeah, Belly Button Boy was a traitor, and Deku told him he could still be a hero. Yeah. Okay, now, great. Now that we're caught up on My Hero, you don't have to hear about it again. Anyway, thank you for letting me waste your time. I appreciate you letting me waste it. If you have any questions or anything, let me know down below. Go ahead and like the video if you want. Sub if you haven't. You probably haven't, let's be honest. And, if you have any video ideas, I guess, let me know. Anything you want me to hear me talk about, like any characters you like to hear me talk about, something wacky. If you want to hear some dumb theories, let me know. If you have any dumb theories you want me to talk about or think about, go ahead and write them down below. I'll be I'll be down to read them and just kind of give my thoughts on them. Regardless, I'm gonna leave you guys alone now. All right, bye and see you for the next video.